there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that.
Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back.
So Sophie Cunningham's season? It just took a brutal turn and the headlines are screaming. Bria Hartley actually got sued and suspended for assaulting her on the court. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just physical WNBA play anymore. It's totally crossed into reckless chaos. It makes you wonder, has the league completely lost control of things? We need to break this down. What's your take on it? Was this play dirty or just some bad luck? Drop your thoughts below.
It's sad. It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear.
Look, let's not even kid ourselves here. Calling what Bria Hartley did to Sophie Cunningham an accident, that's like saying a mugging was just a handshake gone wrong. Everybody saw the clip. Sophie Cunningham didn't just trip, she didn't just stumble, she was absolutely taken out. This is the kind of basketball play that only makes sense in some bizarre league where the refs are moonlighting as blindfolded mall cops. She backs it down low, she puts people in foul trouble. Now before anyone jumps in with the classic basketball is physical, it happens line, let's be crystal clear, there's physical play, and then there's targeted assault. Sophie Cunningham, you can love her or hate her, plays tough. She plays aggressive, but she's not out there yanking ponytails, dragging people by the head, or throwing players down like it's a UFC fight night. That's Bria Hartley's specialty. And this isn't just a one-time mistake either. Hartley's rap sheet is honestly longer than a CVS receipt. She pulled Angel Reese out of the air by her hair. She threw Becca Allen down like she was a sack of laundry. And now, she's ended Sophie Cunningham's season. That's not hard-nosed defense. That's a pattern. That's a reputation. And honestly, the league pretending this isn't happening is about as believable as a politician promising lower taxes.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, let's talk about Sophie for a second, because this isn't just some bench warmer we're talking about here. Not at all. Cunningham came into Indiana and immediately gave this team something they desperately needed. We're talking fire. Pure fight, and let's be honest, real production. She was hitting shots, she was defending like her life depended on it. And most importantly, she had Caitlin Clark's back when it felt like no one else would.
You talk to Sophie Cunningham and she'll say, I'm trying to wrap her up, but I do think that's what...
She wasn't scared to mix it up, either. She wasn't scared to get right in somebody's face when Clark got hammered for the 10th time with no whistle, and now, gone. She's out for the whole season. It's a knee injury, maybe an Achilles, who even knows yet, but what we do know is that Bria Hartley made absolutely sure Indiana lost the one player who wasn't afraid to protect their star. Now let's zoom out a bit, because this isn't just about one dirty play. This is about a league-wide problem, plain and simple. How many injuries have we seen this year already? How many times has the WNBA been forced to roll out rosters that look like they were pieced together from a pickup run at LA Fitness? Caitlin Clark has missed more games than she's played. Sophie's done. Sydney Colson tore her ACL. AR McDonald broken foot. And yet, somehow the league office still parades around talking about how this physicality is some kind of badge of honor. A selling point? Really? Because last time I checked, fans don't pay money to watch IR reports scroll across the bottom of ESPN every single week. And here's where it gets even more ridiculous. The referees. My God, the refs. These people make WWE referees look competent. Seriously. Sophie Cunningham gets knocked down bringing the ball up the floor like 75 feet away from the basket. That's a foul, right? Nope. Play on. Sophie complains, gets a tech. That's the clown show we're dealing with. Honestly, half of these refs should probably be working the drive-thru at McDonald's or handing out Windex at stoplights. Refereeing? Clearly not their lane.
game, Sophie Cunningham went down. It did not look good. I heard her saying no from the court. It was heartbreaking. I am hoping, this is the hope, that it was more of like a bruised knee type thing. There aren't many updates as of yet, but she will be getting an MRI, so hopefully we'll hear something tomorrow. But judging by the way that the WNBA, expands on injuries, it's probably not going to be a lot, but my guess is that she's...
So, what about Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner? What's she doing? She's talking about players needing to rest more, avoid off-season leagues. Oh, really? That's her excuse? Newsflash, Caitlin Clark didn't play overseas. Sophie Cunningham didn't play overseas. They're both hurt, both out, because this league allows straight-up WWE moves under the rim while the referees just whistle Dixie. It's absolutely laughable. And get this, let's not forget the lawsuit part of this headline. Bria Hartley isn't just suspended, she's being sued. And honestly, she absolutely should be. Because when you cross that line from tough defense to a career-threatening cheap shot, you're not just breaking basketball rules, you're opening yourself up legally. Sophie Cunningham has every right to go after Hartley for damages, lost salary, medical bills, lost opportunities. It all adds up. Plus, it sends a clear message. If the league won't protect its players, the courts just might. And don't think this lawsuit is just about Sophie. This is going to open a massive can of worms. If Hartley can get sued, what's stopping the next player who gets slammed to the ground from doing the exact same thing? What's stopping Angel Reese from saying, hey, she pulled my hair and endangered me? I'm filing too. The WNBA is about to find itself in totally uncharted waters, and frankly, they asked for it. You want to know the sad part? This was all so predictable. Everyone knew Hartley was a problem. Everyone knew she played dirty. Commentators warned about it. Fans called it out. Sophie herself probably knew it. But the league, they let it go because controversy sells, and physical play apparently keeps the old heads saying the women's game is finally tough. Well, congratulations. You got your toughness. You also got your star players in rehab and your reputation dragged through the mud. Let's take a step back and compare this to other leagues. Remember the NBA in the 80s and 90s? Guys were getting clotheslined, elbowed in the throat, knocked out of the air. But eventually, the league realized, hey, maybe we shouldn't let this turn into cage fighting. Rules got stricter. Flagrant fouls actually got called. Suspension started meaning something. And guess what happened? The league thrived. Stars could actually stay on the court. Fans got to see the best players night after night. What a shocker. Meanwhile, the WNBA is acting like they've never seen this movie before. They're running the Bad Boys Pistons playbook, but like 30 years too late. Except this time, the stars can't actually survive it. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Caitlin Clark. Because whether you like it or not, everything in this league somehow comes back to her. Sophie Cunningham was one of the only teammates actually standing up for Clark, taking the hits, dishing some back, and sending a message that Indiana wasn't just gonna roll over. Now Sophie's gone, and Clark is even more exposed. You think opponents won't notice? You think Bria Hartley and her friends won't smell blood in the water? Please. Clark is about to become an even bigger target, and Indiana just lost their enforcer. And yeah, Clark is in her second year now, not a rookie anymore. But it doesn't matter. The WNBA still treats her like a sideshow. Every foul, every shove, every cheap shot is a chance for the league to prove it's tough. And now, the Fever are paying the price again. Here's where things really start to spiral. If the WNBA doesn't get its act together, this won't just be about Sophie Cunningham and Bria Hart. It'll be about every single player wondering if they're one hard foul away from a lawsuit, a suspension, or worse, a career-ending injury. And you can bet agents and lawyers are watching this super closely. Hartley's suspension is one thing, but this lawsuit, that's totally uncharted territory. For years, people just laughed at the idea of suing over a foul, but this wasn't just a foul. This wasn't incidental contact. This was a deliberate act that went way past basketball. And if Sophie wins, or even settles, it could open the floodgates for real. Think about what's the league going to do when players realize they don't just have to rely on refs or the commissioner for protection. They can go straight to court. That changes everything. Suddenly, a player like Bria Hartley isn't just worried about a 2-game suspension and a fine. She's worried about paying serious damages, losing endorsements, and carrying the reputation of being legally responsible for injuring someone. That's a whole new level of accountability, but accountability is something the WNBA has been allergic to this season. The referees, zero accountability. The commissioner, zero accountability. Dirty players practically rewarded. And then they wonder why half the league is in walking boots and knee braces. Let's look at Indiana specifically, because this team has been absolutely cursed with injury. Caitlin Clark has missed more games than she's played. Sophie Cunningham, season-ending injury. A.R. McDonald, broken foot. Sydney Colson, torn ACL. The list just keeps going. And instead of looking at the real issue, unchecked dirty play, the league tries to spin it as bad luck or player overuse. It's insulting, honestly. What makes Sophie's situation even worse is the timing. She wasn't just playing well, she was absolutely thriving. She became the heart of this team's toughness. She was the one who stepped up when Clark got bulldozed every game. She was the one giving Indiana its edge. Now she's gone, and the Fever are left totally exposed. That's not just bad luck, that's catastrophic. And let's not pretend Hartley didn't know exactly what she was doing. You don't grab Angel Reese by the hair one week, throw Becca Allen down the next, and then accidentally take out Sophie Cunningham. That's a pattern. That's just who you are as a player. At some point, it's not coincidence, it's character. Of course, WNBA fans are split on this. Some are calling Hartley a disgrace, saying she shouldn't play another game. Others, they're shrugging it off, saying it's part of the game. But those same fans will be the very first to complain when their favorite star is the one sitting out for the season after getting wrecked by a basketball play. It's always funny until it's your team, your star, your season ruined. And let's not forget the referees and all this, because without their incompetence, Hartley wouldn't even have had the chance to build this reputation. If they had called her for flagrant fouls earlier, if they had actually tossed her for dangerous plays, maybe Sophie would still be healthy today. But the refs let it slide. They always do. They hide behind let him play like it's some noble cause, when really it's just laziness and a fear of making the tough call. You know what the most embarrassing part is? Fans are actually starting to question if the league even wants players like Clark or Cunningham healthy. Think about it. The WNBA has been dying for attention for decades. Now they finally have eyeballs because of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others. But instead of protecting those investments, they're letting the league look like a circuit. Dirty plays, injuries, lawsuits. It's drama, but it's not the kind that grows the game in a good way. And trust me, Clark notices. She might not say it out loud, but she sees her teammates dropping one by one. She knows Sophie was her protector, and now that's gone. She knows every time she drives into the lane, there's a good chance she ends up on the floor with no whistle. And at some point, you've got to wonder how long before Clark herself says, enough is enough? How long before she questions whether this league even deserves her? Because let's be honest, if the WNBA keeps this up, Clark won't be the only one reconsidering. Fans are loyal, but only to a point. They didn't sign up to watch rugby with a basketball. They didn't sign up to see star after star sideline. And they definitely didn't sign up to see referees moonlighting as human traffic cones. And here's the kicker, the WNBA could fix this tomorrow. They could set a real tone by making Hartley's suspension meaningful, not just a slap on the wrist. They could retrain their refs to actually enforce the rule book. They could prioritize player safety instead of pretending toughness is the same thing as recklessness. But will they? History says no. They'll sweep it under the rug, issue some half-hearted statement, and then act shocked when the next injury happens. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham's career hangs in the balance because injuries like this don't just disappear. They linger. They change careers. Sophie wasn't just having a good season. She was carving out a new role, proving she could be more than just a role player. And Hartley may have just taken that from her. And for what? For sending a message? For proving you're the toughest on the court? It's pathetic. It's desperate. And it's killing the league from the inside out. So yes, Bria Hartley got suspended. Yes, she's getting sued. But that's simply not enough. The real question is, what's the WNBA actually going to do to stop this from happening again? Because if the answer is nothing, then honestly brace yourselves. Sophie Cunningham won't be the last name on that injury list. Not even close. So there you have it. Bria Hartley suspended, sued, and exposed as the league's dirtiest player. Sophie Cunningham's season is gone, Indiana's future is shaky, and the WNBA's leadership looks totally clueless yet again. What's your take? Should Hartley ever play again, or is this truly the end of the line for her? Drop your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe.